Are you old? Are you lazy? Do you have too many tanks than you know what to do with? Well, let's talk about how we're going to take care of feeding these baby fish. Let's
From
check it
this
out.
moment on, you will now be known as Sharkbait.
Sharkbait! Ooh ha ha!
Welcome, brother Sharkbait.
Sharkbait! Ooh ha ha!
Enough with the shark bait.
Sharkbait! Ooh, but.
So what's up, everybody? So what I'm going to talk about today is how I feed some of the nano species, the saltwater fish, and the baby fish that I keep in my home aquariums. I got quite a few tanks, but I have fry in multiple tanks. And if you're like me and you can be really busy and don't have the time to hatch your own baby brine shrimp, there are some really basic and really readily available foods that you can use to put good growth on your fry and your nano fish and keep them nice and happy and healthy. So let's take a look at a few right now. So you guys may be saying right now, look at all of those foods. This may be very familiar to you guys and look like what you have in your house. A large variety of foods. Those of you that have fish rooms have flakes for this type of fish, frozen for this type of fish. You can see I have I have a variety of frozen foods that I feed to my saltwater fish, but a lot of these put a lot of good growth on baby fish. You can see I have Daphnia here, which the nano fish are really good at. I found that my killifish and the killifish fry are definitely fond of cyclopes and Daphnia, so I keep that for them, as well as my clownfish and coral are really fond of the golden pearls. I started getting these from the Your Fish stuff at one of the previous fish shows. I believe it was probably Reefapalooza or Magna, but I found that this is very good fry food. The fry that I've been raising have taken to this really readily. And I also have the cobalt flake. Now, flake foods are good because you can basically pinch it between your fingers and does the same thing as feeding like Hikari first bites. I also have the Hikari first bites, but you don't have to have 50 different varieties of fish food in order to keep your fish happy and healthy. You can do a mixture of these. I can take one of my little cups. As you see here, I keep these little cups. You can get these as party like dessert and entree little cups. They come in a pack of about 100. You can get these from any Party City or a dollar store, a Dollar Tree, or one of those stores. They sell them in a pack, and you can basically take these little cups and mix your variety of foods in them and store them so that when it comes time to feed your fish, you're already set up to feed them. And for this instance, I'm going to make a first bites mixture of Hikari first foods, and I'm going to mix it with some of the golden pearls that I found that they've been pretty good with. I'm going to take that, and I'm also going to put in some crushed flake, which I have her on the side here. Hard to do it with one hand. Put the top on, mix some of that in there. I'm going to squeeze it up. Now, we don't want to squeeze it completely and super small because some of the fish are going to be bigger than others, and you don't want to make a super whole bunch in one shot. You just want to make a bit for about a week, so you're not running back and forth to the freezer or just opening your containers every 15 minutes. But this is about what it'll look like. I'll put some more of the flake in there. And let me tell you, they love this stuff. I'll show you in a minute the consistency. I know it's hard to focus with the light there, but this is pretty much what you're going to end up with. Not too dry, not too sticky. You don't want to wet it because you want it to store well. And you'll see that on my fingers, it ends up like this. This is what you want. You want it to be consistently kind of thick because you don't want it to float at the surface. You want it to pretty much sink a little bit so your baby fish will not have to come to the surface to feed on it. and it sinks down pretty much to the bottom or floats mid water level so that they will pick on it readily. So this is pretty much golden pearls, flake food, hikari first bites. If you want to freeze, this, you can just basically add a little bit of fresh RO water or filtered water to it, lay it out flat and just freeze it. But for the sake of this, I'm just going to feed it as is. And it's a nice, actually smells pretty good. Now, let me show you what it looks like in the tank. Now right here you can see one of my killifish tanks there, and if you look really closely, you can probably see my fry sitting right there because he sees me coming up. Beautiful fish. You can see the colors on them are looking really nice. There are two of them in there. There's a male and a female. This is my male, from what I understand. Sitting at the top, he's getting a little bigger, so at this size they're starting to come up to the top and feed. But you can see, if you look close on my finger, the camera will focus. Let me see if I can focus there. There is the fish food. It's not completely dry because I've mixed the first bites and the flakes together, and it absorbs the moisture from one another, and they kind of get a little consistency that the fish are ready to. Now you can see this guy already knows I'm coming to feed him, and I'll basically just go beneath the surface here, you can see, and release some of it. And let me focus there. Really good for the fish not to have them come to the surface. And you can see he's pretty fat. You can see my other one, if you look really closely over there, the other one is starting to come up. You can see the other one coming up, feeding below the surface. I have some floating plants there. I fed them about a minute ago, and they're pretty used to me. You can see them coming out for that stuff, and they absolutely love it. They don't have to come to the surface. They don't have to engulf air, and it's really good for the fish. And at the same time, they're getting a balanced diet of not only plant matter, but some meaty foods. There's usually different proteins and vegetable matter in there to give them really good color. And you can see these guys have a definite vibrant color. If you look even further, you'll see that my fish in Super Cube can see me doing the same thing. And the good thing is I can feed them the same variety of foods without breaking the bank. And they're all getting a balanced diet. I don't have to worry about anybody missing out or eating, and it's safe to say that you can do this with any flake food, your favorite foods. I love to mix them because I like to make sure that multiple species are getting a varied diet rather than just feed them one flake repeatedly. Fry are very they're pretty much open to eat whatever they can get to. They're opportunistic when they're at the fry stage, but you want to feed them a food that's going to put growth on them, keep them vibrant and build on their colors and keep them happy. So let's take a look at another tank. Well, of course, now you can tell by the greatly improved lighting that we are outside at the tub. And of course, I have a bunch of fry out here as well. And without even knowing how many fry I have, I know that they will all get by on this variety of foods that I've just made up, which is the Daphnia, flake, first fry, yada 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 foods. It gives a variety in size based on the different size of the fry, as well as the fish that are already here. The parents will also get nutritional value for what their needs are. Now, if you can see here, I'll zoom in. You can already see that the fish have come to the top and are eating, including the parents. They're all happy and healthy, extremely vibrant colors. Let me take in a little closer here. Fish are really colorful, and it is very important to make sure that they're all getting something to eat, especially when you're outside where you can't see them. Making sure that there is a varied diet and that all the different species are getting their nutritional requirements. So don't be stuck on just baby brine shrimp, because actually baby brine shrimp are not the most nutritional resource for fish fry unless they're gut loaded or the fry are a little small side and that's all that they can take in. But the crushed up flake, really crushed up flake, powdered form, the Hikari First Foods, really good in getting immediate growth on the fish. As you can see, these guys are only about a month and a half old, and you can see how big they are. Of course, they're also outside where they're able to feed on microfauna and everything else. But with me feeding them the flake foods and the mixture of foods, I know that they'll be ready to take foods when they come in the house. So now here's a closer look at what we were feeding them. Easy to make, lasts pretty long. You can probably store this in your refrigerator for a couple of days. I tend not to make a lot of it. I try to make it for about a few days because I'm feeding the fry 2 to 3 times a day. I feed them in the morning before I go to work. I take it like this, squeeze it in my hands. You can see it cakes up nicely. It'll sit in the bottom of a bare bottom tank for a good day. You can come home and any remainder can be removed. Or if you have larger fish in the same system, they will happily take this food just as well as the baby. So really easy. I just thought it was something so simple and just to take the fear out of it. And a lot of people just luck into fish breeding. Sometimes you don't expect your fish to breed, or you may have fish like guppies or mollies which are pretty much breeding readily and don't know what to feed them. And just be rest assured that this provides a good balanced diet for multiple species of fry and fish, and it's really simple to make and you can do it. So this is D with a really simple but hopefully helpful video for you guys that are accidentally breeding or have just managed to breed. Sometimes you don't expect your fish to breed and you're like, wow, now what do I do? And hopefully this helps you out. So until next time, this is D. Happy Sunday. Live long and prosper. Be kind to each other. And once again, I'm saying, I can do it. You can do it. It's not that hard. Just take your time. Do your homework. Love, peace, and hair grease. I'm out. Let's go look at fish.